Hello class. Today we'll be doing a directional line composition. A composition that's made of lines going in different directions. The lines are close together, very close in proximity, and they are parallel, going in the same direction as each other until you as the artist decides to change the direction. I have about 5 more examples to show before we start our line design. The lines are what? Very close together, and they're parallel. This artist has many different sections of different types of lines. As you're drawing out your lines, once you change direction, these lines are going this way. But once you change direction, it adds dimensionality to your work. Doesn't it look like it has lots of different things going on? This artist did not put her lines so close together, but she used the complete sheet. Lines that are close together and then changing direction. This almost looks like wood grain because the lines are a little bit more organic. Sorry about the interruption. The janitors are keeping our buildings clean and they're actually doing stuff in the art room with textbooks. So here's another line design. And I was saying this one is far apart. The lines are a little bit far apart, but she did fill up the whole paper. So she still got full points for this. This one has a problem. Do you see what it is? There's lines that are overlapping. There's lines that are crossing over each other. And that's not the way that we're doing this. We're going to keep our lines all parallel, close to each other. Like that, not crossing over each other. So no perpendicular lines, only parallel lines. Here's another design. And that's it. So let's get ready to make ours. You can take a full sheet of drawing paper. And you can give it a frame. Meaning box off the space that you'll be using just for the design. I liked this one that was very small on an index card size piece of paper. Nice and small that size, 3 inches by 5 inches. If you have a ruler, you can use it to measure out your space, or you might use the whole composition space as some artists did with the examples. Let's see. You need a nice sharp pencil. Or you can use a mechanical pencil if you have one of those, that's fine. The clicky click pencils. I think I'm going to use this much space. And I'm going to start in one corner here. Oops. Don't push too hard. If you push too hard. So I'm continuing with my lines that are parallel, meaning they're side by side, like number 11s. A 1 and a 1 close together, like that, parallel. I'm not keeping them too close together. If I had them closer together, my design would be more intricate or more Byzantine, meaning lots of small details. I'm going to switch to go to this direction now in here. So you just keep your lines very close together and make sure they're parallel. And you can change the directions whenever you want. I want my composition to look like there's a lot of dynamism and a lot of dimensionality. So I'm changing how close I'm keeping them together. These lines are very close together now because I want it to look darker from far away. I want these lines to look darker, this space to look darker than this space. So I just keep my lines closer together to make the space look dark. I'm doing big lines. I have to admit I'm rushing a little bit. So if you find yourself doing big lines, it's like you're trying to fill up the space faster, right? But it will go quick enough, so just take your time. In fact, I'm going to pause the video. Well, I guess I'll keep it going. Hopefully you're doing your work by now. Make sure you have a frame and be prepared to share all of this when we do our Zoom class. Okay, so this is like your homework. If you're starting it early, it's still homework. And be prepared to share during class. So what's the objective today? The objective is we will create an abstract design. Abstract meaning it doesn't have to be a picture of anything real. We will create an abstract design using lines placed close to each other. The lines will go in different directions. During our Zoom meeting, when you're showing your composition to the rest of the class, be prepared to use the word abstract while you're explaining your work in lines and directions.
Y'all hit every day, right? You get everything? Y'all hit every day.
Look at this. I can put some small lines in this going slanted here. I'm going to try to keep them close together. This, I'm going to put a line here and slice these off. And then I'm going to put, let's see. I'm trying not to let my lines curve. I want everything to look really sharp. So my lines have to be straight.
You know Rosella, what's her name? Rosella Wall? Live up on, you were doing.
Look at this little space here where I can add some lines in a different direction again. Okay, since this space is so small, I'm going to really make sure the lines are close together so this space will look dark black. Maybe I should sharpen the pencil a little bit more. To keep my lines very close together. Directional lines, lines going in different directions. Directional lines composition. I went in and added more lines, so it doesn't look as dark as I thought it would. So I'm gonna add more lines in between. So what happens if I bump into one of my lines and they start to overlap? That's a problem. But remember, it might just look a little bit more organic. Like this one. If the lines cover each other a little bit. So what are the steps to complete? 1, create your first couple of lines, and then 2, continue until your composition is full. Lines very close together that are parallel, going in the same direction. That's how you make each space, each different space. Each different space is occupied by a different set of lines that are all going in the same direction. They're on one accord, all in the same direction. Directional lines composition, because it's all about direction, and it's all about keeping the lines parallel. Try to keep your lines as straight as possible. That's how you get your work to look really nice and neat. Craftsmanship. I'm getting a little bit messy. If you start to get a little bit messy, move your paper to a different area where you can reach it better. You might turn your paper, as I already have. Remember when I was on this side? Let's see. So hopefully your composition is off to a good start. Be prepared to share. Be prepared to share your work. If you get tired, just take a little break. Make sure your hands don't get tired. If you mess up a little bit, it's okay to erase. So I don't want this video to be too long, so I hope that it's a relaxing process to get your composition all finished up. So I'm going to stop here so that I can be prepared to show my work when we have our critique on Zoom. Now I'm going to change direction with a line that comes out here and goes here to help break up the composition a little bit. Close together. Keep your lines close together and parallel. Be very neat. If your hand starts to get tired, just take a little break. If your work is taking longer than the 30 minutes, you can come back to it. That's the point of having this link available for homework. So you can take your time and work on your compositions. And when we have our Zoom class meetings, we get to share our work live in an art critique. We'll be able to share our work and see what our classmates critique our work to be, judging our work and interpreting our work on Zoom. So be prepared. And remember to put your name somewhere on your paper. Bye.